Okay, so students, a very good afternoon. I guess you all are well and you guys are healthy and fit. So basically today will be the lecture 5's second part. The first part has been uploaded. So if you have not seen that, please go through that video. In that video, I have discussed about Kingdom Monera, Protista and Kingdom Fungi, and in this video I will be discussing about Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Okay, so this making the agenda behind making this video, like making Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia separately, is just because there are certain classifications of Plantae and Animalia. So this is the reason why I am just making this as a separate video. Okay, so starting off with Kingdom Plantae and Animalia, the detailed classification. So I will straight away dive into what is Kingdom Plantae all about. So Kingdom Plantae are the producers. Okay, as we came to know that Kingdom Monera was the what? Kingdom Monera was the, what were they? The prokaryotes. Okay, so similarly Kingdom Plantae are the producers. Now why are the Kingdom Plantae called as the producers? I guess you already know the answers, because they are autotrophs. The biggest reason behind them being the producers is because they are autotrophs, that is, they can produce their own food. Okay, so the defining features, if I talk about defining features, obviously they will have eukaryotic cells. Okay, their cells contain true nucleus, and also they have membrane bound organelles, which includes chloroplast. So this is the main main component due to which plants can produce food. Other organisms cannot produce food. So this chloroplast is basically one of the main components. Okay, so green leaf or green plants contain this chloroplast. So this is the reason why they can produce food. Now multicellular, they are of course multicellular, composed of many specialized cells which are organized into basically tissues, organs, and that is divided into roots, stems, leaves and flowers. Okay, they are autotrophic by nature, as I already told you in the first sentence, that it is autotrophic by photosynthesis. So they contain chlorophyll, and with that they contain other pigments as well. Okay, which can basically capture this sunlight and it can convert it into energy, that is sugars. Sugar meaning glucose. Okay, glucose. Okay, cell wall, if I talk about the cell wall of the plants, that is, the cell wall is composed of cellulose. What was the cell wall composed in case of fungi? I guess you have gone through the video already. It was what? Chitin. Okay, so in case of producers, it is what? It is cellulose. Okay, so rigid cell walls are made primarily of cellulose, which can provide what? It can provide structural support. It can provide the basic importance of a cell wall is that it can provide structural support. It is non-motile, it cannot move. Generally it is fixed in one place and it lacks the ability to move independently. Okay, so what it is telling is that though some may show slow movements like growth or tropism, sometimes plants can move towards, due to tropism, it can move towards the sunlight. For example, sunflower, it is phototrophic in nature. Phototrophic means it can move towards the sunlight, and when the sunlight is not there, it can turn. So that is a movement which is shown by some plants. So these are the exceptions. Okay, then we have the reproduction. Plants basically reproduce asexually, which is vegetative propagation, and also sexually through flowers and seeds. Differentiated organs. Plants have roots, stems and leaves, each with a specific function. Each of them have specific functions. Okay, then we have the vascular systems. Vascular systems means most plants have xylem and phloem. Xylem is used for transporting water and minerals, and phloem distributes it throughout the tissues. Okay, so for transporting water, minerals and food, these two are required, and these two form the vascular system of plants. So now coming into the classification. Kingdom Plantae can be classified into majorly four groups. What are those? Those are Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Spermatophyta. Okay. Now this Spermatophyta can be further classified into two groups. One is gymnosperm, one is angiosperms. Okay. So Spermatophyta are basically the seed bearing plants. Plants which contain seeds are called as Spermatophyta. They are basically classified under Spermatophyta, and this Spermatophyta can be classified into two types. One is gymnosperm, one is angiosperms. Now you don't have to take tension, because in my video, in my upcoming slides, you will see all of them and all their defining features as well. Okay, so have some patience and go through the whole lecture. Don't skip it anywhere, so that you can't follow if you skip anywhere. Okay, so coming to Thallophyta, see, I have attached a picture. This is picture of Spirogyra species I have written, because there can be many species, so the fixed species I have not mentioned. I have just mentioned the genus name. Okay, now I guess you know what is genus, what is species, because already binomial nomenclature has been covered, so you know that. Now the defining features of Thallophyta, basically the body is thallus-like. What does thallus-like means? Thallus-like means is that it is not differentiated into true roots, stems and leaves. See, in this Spirogyra, these are like long threads. It's not thread, it's basically much more thicker than threads. It's like it's looking like a bamboo tree, see? Or you can think of sugarcane. When we see sugarcane, before making the juice, we see the sugarcane. So it's looking like sugarcane. So these are not differentiated into roots or stems or leaves. Okay, and it also have no vascular tissues. Basically, xylem and phloem is absent. Okay, they reproduce mainly by what? They reproduce mainly by spores, like the vegetative method of reproduction. They don't reproduce sexually. They always reproduce by asexual methods, that is vegetative methods. Like they release spores, and that spores are carried away, and that spores again give rise to another plant. Okay, so mostly these are found in aquatic habitats. Okay, we may mostly find Thallophyta in aquatic habitats. Like Spirogyra, we basically see in ponds and all these lakes. We basically find this in aquatic habitats. Examples, not only I have attached the picture of Spirogyra, there are others also, like Chlamydomonas, Eulothrix, Spirogyra. It's better to remember 3 examples at least. So now we come to the next one. The next one is Bryophyta. You can see the picture of this. This is Funaria hygrometrica. Okay, this is Funaria hygrometrica. What are the defining features? See, this here also, these are non-vascular plants, that is, they do not contain xylem nor they contain phloem. They have rhizoids. Okay, they have rhizoids instead of true roots. They don't have true roots. Instead of true roots, they have rhizoids. Okay, rhizoids are kind of roots which grow under the soil, but that are not true roots. Okay, this basically grows in moist and shady places, and they also reproduce by spores, and these are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Now, why are they called amphibians of the plant kingdom? Because they require water for fertilization. For performing fertilization, they require water. So this is the reason why they are called amphibians in nature. Okay, so examples are Funaria, like moss, then Marchantia, liverwort or riccia. These are examples of Bryophyta. Okay, now we come to Pteridophyta. What are the defining features of Pteridophyta? Pteridophyta are the first plant Plantae classification, which consists of vascular tissues. Before two, what we saw, Thallophyta and Bryophyta, they did not contain any kind of vascular tissue. But this is the first classification of Plantae kingdom that contains xylem and phloem. These are present. Okay, they have true roots. You can see they already have true roots. As you can see, these are well developed plants. So they have true roots, they have stems, they have leaves. Okay, they also reproduce by spores. Still now they are not reproducing by seeds, and they grow also in moist and shady places. Okay, examples are fern, equisetum, horsetail, then Selaginella. Okay, so these are the examples of Pteridophyta. Then we come to Spermatophyta. What I was telling is that these are seed bearing plants. What are the defining features of Spermatophyta? Before going into the details of Spermatophyta, the two classifications of Spermatophyta, let me just talk about some details of Spermatophyta. So these are basically they have well developed vascular tissues, like they have xylem plus phloem. Okay, they have xylem plus phloem, both. They have both. They have true roots, they have stems, they have leaves. They reproduce by seeds. That's why they are called as the seed bearing plants, because they can reproduce with the help of seeds. Now this is classified into two types. One is the gymnosperms, one is the angiosperms. Okay, now for gymnosperms, what are the defining features? For gymnosperms, the basic differentiation is there that these seeds are naked and these are not enclosed within fruits. But here for angiosperms, if you see, the seeds are always enclosed in fruits. So whenever you see about you hear about the term gymnosperms, just remember the seeds are naked, and whenever I talk about angiosperms, just remember the seeds are enclosed within fruits. The seeds are enclosed inside the fruits. Okay, so basically they do not produce flowers or fruits. Gymnosperms do not produce flowers or fruits. These are mostly evergreen woody plants. They are mostly evergreen woody plants, and pollination is basically done by wind. With the help of wind, the pollination is done. Okay, so examples are pinus, Cycas, Cedrus. These are the examples of gymnosperm plants. Okay, what are the defining features of angiosperms? Already you have known that it will be flowering plants. Seeds are always enclosed within fruits, and it possesses what? It possesses well developed vascular tissues. Okay, most abundant and highly evolved group of plants. Now angiosperms are the highly, or you can say these are the most highly developed group of plants. Okay, examples are mango, rose, sunflower, wheat, pea, whatever name comes in your mind for like the developed trees, whatever it comes in your mind, apple tree. Okay, so these are angiosperms. So here I have just added a table. If you go through this table, then it will help you to understand about this particular classification what I just now talked about. So division is what? Thallophyta, roots, stems, leaves. Does it contain? No, it do not contain roots, stems or leaves. Vascular tissue, does it contain vascular tissue? A big no, it does not contain vascular tissue. Reproduction, does it contain spores? How do they reproduce? With the help of spores. Do they contain seeds? No, they do not contain seeds. Examples, Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas. Okay, coming to Bryophyta, do they contain roots? No, they do not contain true roots. Instead, they contain rhizoids. Do they contain vascular tissues? A big no, they do not contain vascular tissues. For reproduction, reproduce by spores. For seeds, they do not contain seeds as well. Examples, Funaria, Marchantia. Okay. For Pteridophyta, true root, stems, leaves present? Yes, present. Vascular tissue present? Yes, present. Reproduction? Again by spores. Seeds present? No. Again, they do not contain any seeds. Examples, fern, equisetum. Okay, gymnosperms, these are obviously what? Spermatophyta, right? So gymnosperms, root, stems, leaf, yes. Vascular tissue, yes. Reproduction, seeds. Seeds are naked. Examples, Pinus, Caicus. Angiosperms, root, stems, leaf, present, yes. Vascular tissue, yes. Reproduction, seeds again. Seeds enclosed in fruits. Okay. Examples, mango, rose. Okay. I guess you got a clear understanding about this. So Kingdom Plantae, there are some examples in this slide I have given, that is mosses and liverworts. These are bryophytes. Remember, these are always non-vascular plants, that is they contain no xylem, no phloem. Okay, they do not contain xylem or phloem. They do not contain. Ferns, hostels, these are pteridophytes. These are seedless vascular plants. Conifers and caicus, these are gymnosperms, seed plants that bear naked seeds. Okay, example, pine tree and redwoods. Flowering plants are always angiosperms. These are seed plants that produce flowers and fruits, and examples are roses, oak, grasses, fruits, mango, etc., etc. Okay, so now, what are the unique roles it plays in ecosystem? They are basically the primary producers we know, which forms the base of almost all terrestrial food chain. It can convert light energy into chemical energy and can sustain nearly all other life forms. Then it can produce oxygen. This is the huge production of oxygen house, which releases oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis, and it is essential for respiration of most of the living organisms. Habitat provision, what? Provide shelter and food for countless animal species. Soil stability, obviously the root helps prevent soil erosion and can improve soil structure. Water cycle, it transpires water and contributes to cloud formation and rainfall. So that is why we call don't cut plants, don't cut trees, plant more trees. Okay, we say that because it can help in rainfall. It can form cloud because with the help of transpiration, clouds can be formed. So these are basically the oxygen cycle. These plants are called as the oxygen cycle or Earth's lung. Okay, imagine a world without plants. Imagine it would be a barren, breathless place. Plants are the Earth's magnificent lungs because it can constantly take in carbon dioxide, a gas that we exhale. Okay, and it can basically release life-giving oxygen that every animal needs to breathe. Every breath we take is a gift from a plant which is meticulously crafted with the help of sunlight and air. Without this, the vital gas exchange would not have occurred. All consumers from insects to humans would quickly perish, like die. A tree's silent battle. Consider a towering oak tree. For hundreds of years, it stands steadfast, drawing continuous water and nutrients from the soil, reaching for the sun. It's a silent factory which is tirelessly producing sugars for its own growth and providing shelter, food, and even clean air for countless other creatures. So it is a silent battle which is being played by an oak tree, for example. So it asks for very little. It is asking for very little. Like it is telling that it is asking for very little. That it is just using sunlight, which that plant is taking up on its own. The water is taking up from the soil. So it is asking for very little but giving us many things. Like for example, the biggest thing is oxygen. So this is all about Kingdom Plantae. Okay. Now this lecture I won't make it more long because already this much is, this will make a big lecture. Not very big, but then also around 20 minutes. So I won't stretch this lecture more. So let's deal with Kingdom Plantae for this video. And in the next video, the lecture series. The fifth lecture only will be continued, and in that I will be talking about kingdom Animalia in details. Okay, till then, take care and bye.